her.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do you guys feel about this Joe Biden, Kamala Harris team up?
Pamela.
Whatever her name is. I'm not really like that. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not big on presidential anything.
I mean,
I think she's a wretched woman. Just by her history.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not even a black woman. Speaking of somebody riding on the black car, she's not even a black woman. She's like Southern Indian.
East Indian, right?
Yeah. Southeast Indian. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's Southeast Indian, and then her father's side is from Jamaica.
Her father's side is like Irish and Jamaican, but they both listed on but they listed on her birth certificate Caucasian.
Correct.
Really?
Yes.
really?
Oh.
Yes, Caucasian. They checked the box Caucasian.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So they knew that it came, they know what comes with that. And they chose that for her. And now she's, riding the opposite.
I didn't.
I ain't with it.
I don't know how true it is, but they did say, I saw a meme. It wasn't really a meme. It was just more of a clarification. She was on the Breakfast Club, and she said, I used to, in college, smoke weed and listen to Tupac and Snoop Dogg. And they clarified that Tupac and Snoop Dogg didn't drop songs till 91 and 92, and she was in college at 86.
Wow.
I don't know how true that is, but that's I saw that actually yesterday.
That happened. Yep.
And I was like, oh, so
before she ran, this happened. This was before. This was just her being Miss Kamala Harris, and that's a lot of people.
Well, that was the other day when she said that.
No, this is old.
She was on the Breakfast Club the other day. No, maybe that video was old, and I finally saw it.
Oh, but they've been talking about that.
Okay.
You know how it goes already with this type of stuff. They're gonna find everything they can find on her.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, sounds like she's a liar.
Yep. How about that?
I think the way the internet is coming for her, I think we probably represent what most of us are thinking. Like she's savage and we don't want her.
They also find it very suspect because she literally came out not too long ago against Biden. So,
right.
They saying like, oh, Biden is using her for the black vote because
right.
He's done, and the whole thing with the kids and him rubbing the kids and all these little things are coming out, and now it's causing division. So they kind of feel like they used her as a pawn.
Right.
Listen, like I said, I'm not big into presidential politics, but after watching Scandal, don't nothing surprise me no more. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Like, everything that's happening right now doesn't happen on Scandal multiple times. Like, two enemies, now running mates, hate each other. And then it just happened on Power too. Like, no, this is coming from somewhere. It don't surprise me. I'm sorry. Like, and people just don't understand. Like, no matter who is president, it's not going to help black people. I'm sorry.
I mean,
if you got to unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, I'm unmuted.
I mean, before Biden picked her, everybody was thinking that Trump is going to win regardless. I don't care regardless. I think Trump is still going to win. That's how it is.
Okay, can I say this?
Please.
Number one, it's so funny that you bring up Scandal because I had a whole conversation this afternoon with my friend about Scandal. Okay. And y'all were talking about Kamala, like there's so many different people who've done the analysis, and guess what? Interestingly enough, almost everyone is right. And at the point where we're facing an existential threat in Trump, Pence, right? We got to roll with whoever's rolling, and then hold, can we curse? And then hold these people accountable. You know what I mean? Once November/January/ whenever the generals wrestle Trump out of 1600. It's not going to be easy. So a couple of people have pointed out a couple of things that make sense, right? We needed someone in that VP role that was quote unquote electable. Black people make up only 13% of the population, right? Kamala has that look. She's marketable. She's going to do great in the debates, right? And I don't trust her, right? I don't trust that she's Black. I don't trust her politics. I don't trust a lot of things. But as far as getting Trump out of the White House, which might not even happen in 2021, it might take to 2022 and a freaking civil war before you get that Negro, try not to curse, physically out of 1600. So if that's the case, right, Jimmy, and you know he is a malignant narcissist with the codes to the nuclear things, you know Putin is his puppet master, right? Anyone who thinks that their vote alone in November is the be all and end all of what they're gonna have to do. Nah, we're already at war, okay? And people are gonna have to really go and fight for this. Never was a democracy, right? It was always fascist for Black people, and white people were comfortable with the fascism as long as it was directed only at.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a good try to
bodies on the line, but they slept too long. They slept too late. Now they're picking up mailboxes, right? And the time to do something was well before. I spent the past 5 years on Facebook saying, "Wake up, wake up, wake up." I had a daily post called "Coffee for your some coffee for your wake up," trying to get people to like. And I know some high power people. I know congressmen. I know state representatives, right? Everybody slept because they okay with fascism for Blacks. And I'm like, y'all are next. You don't realize I'm next and you next right after me?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't get it soon enough. So now, right, they picking up mailboxes in Montana and Oregon and places where white people have never been quote unquote oppressed, or they were being oppressed and just didn't know it. So the reality is the Biden-Harris ticket is the best ticket. I wanted Susan Rice because of her foreign policy experience, etc. But the Biden-Harris ticket for who is in the field right now was the best choice. And if we want better candidates in the future, then we got to get to work. Right? We got to get to work.
I'm gonna keep reiterating this. No matter who's in the White House, Black people will not be affected in a positive light. We have to worry about group economics. Right. We have to worry about circulating our money in our neighborhoods.
Absolutely. That's how Black nation building.
That's how we get to where we need to get. Last week, Ro was on here and he said, you don't see in the Asian community, in the Jewish community, vote or die, or your vote matters. They don't push, the voting thing. I'm not saying that they don't vote, but they don't push it crazy. Why? Because they have power in their group economics. None of this matters. No matter who's president, because they have money and money circulation and power, they can get whatever they want no matter who's in office. Because when you have money circulation, now you can buy whatever congressman you want. And the congressman you can't afford, you rent them. And you can do whatever you want after that. It is not like for Black people, we need to stop worrying about the White House. What we need to worry about is the Congress, the local.
Right, and
people.
local.
Yes,
right, down the down ballot,
yes.
Which is true. But the everything affects us. First of all, I understand what you're saying, right? But if 8 years of Obama didn't prove, right, given the obstructionism that he faced, right? If he didn't, and he couldn't, and he might be a neoliberal, right? And now we're facing liberal neo-fascists, because I also follow Cornel West. Mm-hmm. I was mad as hell at Cornel West for being critical of my Black president, Obama. And I've looked at it fairly and objectively based on facts and actual, things. And Obama was a neoliberal, right? So, but I still respect him and his family for Black excellence and Black achievement and stuff like that, right? But you're absolutely correct that the other people have power, and what Black people don't have is power, and it's not purely economic. Because I was at a conference at Harvard, and they keep talking about Black people don't have wealth. I said, Black people are this nation's wealth. Number
we're the number one spenders. We spend the most.
Right.
I'm sitting, money circulation. That our money.
I'm at a double conference. Yeah, exactly. I'm at a double conference at Harvard. I'm at the school, the school of. I'm at the business school, and the school of government was also having a conference that same weekend. So I'm jettisoning back and forth between these different meetings and sessions. And sorry guys, mute me if you have to. In a session with some Black equity managers, they were still saying that antiquated thing about Black people don't have any wealth, and I was like, listen, that's an antiquated notion. It's disproven, right? Not only are we the biggest consumers, but we are also the biggest influencers, right? And so we, like, Black culture has always been America's influence and the way their dollars go, right? And
Question.
So, go ahead.
Do you think when they say we don't have wealth, do you think it's more in reference to, like, and I'm not a political person, so excuse me if I'm wrong on the verbiage, but like with the power of like lobbying, isn't that what you meant when you said, you know, you go with the senators, you buy them through lobbying.
Right. So we might not have individual wealth except for, like, you know what I mean, the choice, like the Jay-Z's of the world and things like that. But then again, just like Jay-Z's, what was his thing, his music thing? What was it called? His music thing.
Oh, his
Tidal? From my Rock Nation?
Not Rock Nation, the platform.
Tidal.
Yeah, right. What's it called?
Tidal,
right. Okay, I'm sorry. So just like he proved, right, unless you have distribution, right, which all the other powers that be keep under lock, right? Do you know what I mean? You can't amass the same critical mass that determines the power structure. However, we have collective wealth.
That's
like Pat was saying, we most certainly have collective wealth, because like Pat is saying, $1 goes into, say, you could be in a poor, you could be a poor Laotian immigrant to the United States, and your dollar will circulate 6 or 7 times in your community, and our dollars circulate once, right?
So we get it, it's gone.
So
everywhere else.
But the notion that we don't have wealth, as long as we change that paradigm, right, is false. So we need to nation build. That's the only answer. We need to say, some people will say this, integration was the worst thing that happened to Black people.
Ooh, I say that shit all the time.
Integration was the worst thing that happened.
The end of segregation. Oh my God.
Right. Integration.
That was the worst.
Integration was what wrecked it, in a way, right? Because if we had gotten civil rights and then not tried to integrate, right, we could have created these economic successful enclaves. I remember when I was in college, I was an economics major, and I wanted to write my thesis on Black economic enclaves. And my supposed liberal arts college, with the open-mindedness and you're free to determine, your path and your certainly your dissertation, and they weren't having it, right? Because we live in a white supremacist nation. There's no question of it. It's already been established, and the only thing we can do at this point is nation build. And I've been talking to nation builders from the super PAC, the Black super PACs, the power brokers, right? You know what I mean? From Bob Johnson, whose ass I can't stand, but at least he's talking about reparations, right? Down to the Black guy in Philadelphia who is trying to get people to grow their own food and be self-sustainable.
If
we need to nation build.
If we want to just go, like, if we want to speed up this process, so to speak, it's very simple. Every person of substantial financial earnings, and celebrity and influencer and just regular people with money alike that's Black, open a grocery store in your neighborhood. Every person. There is, if a Black person opens a grocery store in the old neighborhood that has money, if you like, say you have $500K in the bank, you open a grocery store in your own neighborhood, that's a start. Now we don't have to run to, the Arabian grocery store. Now we can partake in a Black person's grocery store, and then we build from there. Liquor store, everything.
Right.
That's what it's really about.
I love all of that, Pat.
As soon as we get paid, we go
right. I love all of that, Pat. Right, because of the circulation of the dollar, but more importantly, we need pooled resources. So what I was saying to the brother that heads up a major private equity firm out in California.
But Tiff, not to cut you off, but if we start there, if we start there,
not enough.
No, I understand it's not enough, but all of these other ethnicities that are making money off us on the regular, that's now gone. If we stop, if Black people just say we're not going to spend money for a month.
Yeah. Oh, that's a given. Black entrepreneurship, all of that stuff is a given.
The economy would be destroyed.
Listen. Black entrepreneurship, no question. Supporting Black business, no question. But when you're talking about what needs to actually be done, it needs to be a collective, en masse, right? Collective effort. So you remember the Million Man March a couple of years ago, and everyone said, "Hey, if everyone sent in $10 a month, we could be raising, billions, literally billions, right? And we can go from community to community, buying land, buying property, and building Black communities." That's the only way to do it. And the only way to do it is, remember you were talking to me about a susu, is for Black people to say, let's nation build. And we're going to be selfish about our dollars. And if you set it up right, you'll have, like what you're saying, because what you're saying is critical too. All the influencers and the celebrities and the people that people identify with, all of the major people in, whether it's Wall Street or other commercial endeavors, right? If they would be a part of this, then because we're the influencers, we'd be getting white dollars into this pool. So It's not only Black money. It'll be like, listen, if you want to buy Jay-Z's music or LeBron sneakers or whatever like that, right? Which they do, that money is going into the fund for Black nation building. That's all we have to do. Okay, we are the wealth in the U.S. We are literally the wealth in the U.S. How can we be 13% of the population and everything turns on us and what we do? Okay, and so I think everyone's correct in this, but there's certainly a model for economic enclave building and economic success. Historically, this nation has crushed every effort. Also another difference between us and, because I get the question all the time, how come Black people who have been here for decades or generations can't do something, and then the guy who gets off the boat or one or two generations can? I'm like, because America's a white supremacist nation, and and they look at things in terms of Black and white, and they will not allow for Black economic achievement, right, at all. And so we face what you don't face. You guys can set up the illegal or legal kindergarten in Chinatown and educate your own. They're gonna make sure that they COINTELPRO the hell out of any effort for autonomy, right, within the Black community, and that's what we're facing.
Anybody got anything about to say about this Trump? Me personally, I don't have a problem with Trump. I know everybody gonna say I'm crazy. I don't have a problem with Trump, because everybody was cool when the racism was only on us. And what Trump did, every Spanish, Asian, not everybody's feeling what we've been feeling. And now it's not okay. I don't have a problem, honestly. I don't have a problem with Trump. Whoever's in office, c'est la vie. I'm worried about me and mine and the people around me and the people in my immediate circle and the other people on my outer circle. That's all that's all you got to concern. I'm concerned with my people. Like, that's it.
I know. Again, I had to get schooled on a lot of things. Like deportations under Obama and drones under Obama and all those things. But let me make something distinctly clear to you, right? Trump is a existential threat to the nation's democracy, right? So let's get that clear. Right, Jimmy? Like he's literally, I can break it down if y'all want to keep hearing me talk, but I'm just going to make a statement and we could talk about it next time or we could talk about it offline. I'm not trying to suck up the whole conversation, but let me just tell you, an existential threat. You got white people quaking in their boots. You got generals preparing. You got the Lincoln Project Republicans formulating against Trump. He is, number one, he's an antichrist, meaning against the light, against truth. So he's not a truth teller. He's not the first dishonest politician, but he's an antichrist. And more importantly, he's a fucking anti-Midas. Everything he touches turns to shit. Okay? He has dismantled our critical systems, all of our checks and balances. And there's no comparison between him and former presidencies or former crooks like Nixon. And there's certainly no comparison, the lesser of two evils. People made that mistake with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton tried to warn us. If it came down to Hillary fucking Clinton, and she was dirty as fuck, right? And Donald Trump, then guess what? It should have been Hillary Clinton, because Hillary Clinton would have never, right? For instance, this pandemic, right? The reason why I'm covering my pretty face with this mask, right? Hillary Clinton, you might not be able. People are saying, scientists are saying, it's not a manufactured virus. But believe you me, right? I can't prove it. I'm not scientific, so I'm not going to be public about it. But all the circumstances currently are part of a manufactured crisis, and there's more to come. Okay, so while the virus may not be man-made, I believe we have already established that the quote-unquote government knew about it, did nothing about it. Then they took all our PPE and put it on a plane to China. Okay, and everyone knows how much Trump hates China, and he says it's a Chinese virus. So how come people suspend logic, right, when it comes time to calling the fact that they knew about it, didn't let us know about it? They sent all our critical PPE to China, whom Trump hates, and he don't do shit for anybody he hates, right? So they wanted it to run rampant. They wanted to kill people. I think it is engineered, because they knew off the bat that it was going to kill Black and Latino people. How they know off the fucking bat? They knew off the bat because it's engineered in a Chinese lab somewhere, and they're the ones that released it and didn't say anything.
Wouldn't that say that it's above Trump's head if he hates China and
no, he's the one that made the decision to send the PPE to China, which that's like me sending money to my ex. It ain't happening.
I'm not.
I don't, you know what I mean? And guess what? The PPE gets manufactured in China. So that's like sending me money to my ex. It ain't happening. And he got $1 million, right? You know what I mean? And I'm sending him my little 50, right? So it doesn't even make any logical sense. And what I'm trying to say is we might not in this forum have time for me to break it all down to y'all. But I got high level people that inform me, and just and low level people that inform me, and everyone in between. And let me tell you something. Trump is an existential threat. There's no way you can say, I promise you we will not survive the next 4 years. You see they got kids in cages, and you think your kids are not next, right? Even if it might be the school to prison pipeline. Do you think if he gets another 4 years that he is not going to live out his every Central Park 5 fantasy on your ass? Yes, he is. I've been carrying my passport every single day since the day he took office. I've been carrying my passport in preparation to get the fuck out. If I hear some shit, I'm going straight to the airport. And y'all know how much luggage I like to bring. I'm going straight to the airport. I tried to leave in March. Glad I didn't. I'm kind of glad I didn't leave because the place I was going ended up on 24/7 lockdown, and I would have been in quarantine, and even their supermarkets were closed, so it would have been very miserable, right? And I'm waiting for them to open back up. The first flight is August 28th, right, to where I plan to go. And by the time I'm ready to go in September, since I have so much stuff to do, right, all the 10 countries that have their doors open to U.S. passport probably, if they have any sense, will shut down to us, right? You know what I mean? But some countries will need the economic dollars, you know, the you know, blah, blah. But I'm telling you that I'm more terrified about the months of October, because the October surprise, and December, than I am about the mess that voting is going to be in November. Because Trump is a malignant narcissist. He's a totalitarian, right? And he is vindictive as fuck, and he's an anti-Midas. So if he can bankrupt 6 casinos, and he's already bankrupting the U.S., what do you think he's gonna do? Number one, if he gets reelected unfairly, fairly, whatever like that, what do you think he's gonna do? He's gonna live out all his fantasies. He's already said, I should be president forever, for as long as I.
I knew we were in trouble.
Our nation's rules, right? Huh?
I said, I knew how, once he became president, I knew he was getting in trouble. One thing, how did he get he never was in politics. He was a business person, of course, I understand that, but he was never in politics. How you elect somebody that never been in politics? Never. You give that guy the country? That's
the density. That's the density of white people.
And he's the worst businessman to ever live. Everything he's ever touched, from steaks to wine, has failed. So that's neither here, because Trump is an antichrist. And so the concern. So I'll just, without talking, I tend to talk too much, but believe you me, Patrick, I don't want to hear you really saying that. You know what I mean? Trump don't bother you, because let me tell you something. If he gets another 4 years in office, right? I told y'all, I'm too cute for the penitentiary, and I'm too cute for the plantation. And we will, in one way or another, right, end up back in Jim Crow level America.
Leave.
And I don't need that. I'm too cute.
Anybody else can chime in?
I wear cotton. I don't pick it.
Oh boy.
And I barely wear cotton. I wear silk. I'm just lying. I don't. But you know what I mean.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out. Hopefully we can do this again next week.
When y'all coming to hang out with me? If you COVID free? You COVID free?